Hey guys, welcome to tonight's live. Just getting a little organized here. Happy Friday. I know y'all could be a million different places, but I promise you, I always love to astound and amaze you with menopause facts and things that will really improve your life and help you balance things out, whether you're perimenopause or menopause or after. And menopause is just a year without periods. So let's take that off the table and let's just talk about ovarian failure and all the things that hit when you don't have ovaries anymore. So no matter what your thoughts are about hormone replacement therapy, which I'm a big proponent of, I want to sort of take the angle tonight that, let's say that you're still scared of hormone therapy, bioidentical hormone therapy, natural, organic, topical. That's a whole nother conversation. And tonight I really just want to focus on some natural things that you can take, eat, or avoid that can either make your symptoms better or worse. So we're just going to split them down. For the ability to be brief tonight, I'm just going to go through the most common symptoms. If you're interested in more of the symptoms and more of the stuff, you can always direct message me and I will send you the rest of the list. So this is 7 things on the list of 10, and I'll be happy to send you the rest of those if you would like. If you are new to this space, I am all about information. I'm a medical doctor, been practicing for almost 25 years. In fact, in the end of this March, it will be 25 years. And I just am so passionate about hormones and helping you guys feel better, and you don't have to suffer. So again, little housekeeping, go to my link in bio if you want free information, free downloads, watch my videos, and just consume as much information as you can because your life depends on it. Not only your sanity, not only for symptom control and to have your life quality, but your life depends on it because your heart, cancer, all the things are dependent on you having good hormone balance and all the processes in your body, your physiology balanced. Hi, Constantina. And so we have our tribe that are here almost every single night. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night at 7. So please tell your friends and please join us. And I am here to answer your questions. I really only bring content just so I can share value. And then you guys are free to pipe in any moment. Our moderator will bring your question back around if I miss it. But feel free to ask me twice if you don't see me answer your question. And sometimes I'm a little bit like a rabbit and it feels like ADD, but your questions are my priority, not the content. But the content is good, and I hope that it's very helpful to you as well. So also one of the things to keep in mind, if you're not one of our tribe yet, the way to get into the club is to order a hormone test kit. So if you don't know what your estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone levels are, and you can't get a doctor to check them, which is very, very common, then you can go to Hormone Bliss, and my moderator will put that in the chat, the website, so you can go and do that. And we do have a special this month for St. Patrick's Day. My birthday is on the 17th, so it's our special, and it's only $97 to get a test kit. It's a home test kit, free shipping. We send it to you. You just put your saliva in this little test kit, and then you send it in, and then we can tell you what your hormones are doing. So super easy, super convenient. You don't even have to go to a medical office to get that done and to see what your levels are. So of course, I'm a huge proponent of all the things that I'm going to talk to tonight can all be mitigated or eliminated with bioidentical, safe, organic hormone therapy. Let's just jump into some things that you can do, even if you're on hormone therapy and you're still having symptoms, or if you're on hormone therapy or you're in our tribe and you're still working on the balance and getting the adjustments dialed in. Okay, so menopause symptoms and food. So I had to draw a little broccoli here. I had to get a little artistic. It's not so good, but it's fun. It's broccoli. Wine. We'll talk about wine. This is cheese, a little Swiss cheese. And this is bread. That's a terrible loaf of bread. But so, yeah, so we're going to kind of go through those. I'm going to move this just a little bit so you can see a little bit better because I have a little bit far. Okay. So the first one is always comes up hot flashes. However, hot flashes are not the most common symptom of menopause. Fatigue is the number one, which also goes with not sleeping. And the number two is brain fog. And the number three is weight gain. And if a woman cannot deal with or can deal with hot flashes or mood swings or brain fog, weight gain is what always brings her into my office because women can gain anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds a year after their estrogen declines. You can go watch some of my videos and learn why that is. But that's what usually brings people in because they just can't take it anymore. And you start getting scared because you're like, I've gained 10 pounds this year. I've gained 20 pounds this, next year after menopause. So it just piles on. And to stop the madness, you have to restore those levels to where you were. But if you're having symptoms and you want to know a little bit more what to do about it, then we'll start with hot flashes. And even though it's not the number one symptom, almost 75% of women after menopause, which is menopause just a year without periods, after your ovaries dry up and you're not making any ovarian hormones, about 75% of women or more do have hot flashes. So it's on the list. So I want to tell you kind of why it happens. And why it happens is, and you'll hear so many people out there say, we don't know what causes hot flashes. That's bull. That's not true. I don't even know why people are out there saying that because there is very specific physiology. There is a part of your brain called the hypothalamus, and it's like the thermostat in your house. And so my moderator is my fiance, and so he's always fussing at me about turning up the thermostat. And I swear I don't even touch it. So I think my house is haunted or there's some problem with the house because it does just do its own thing sometimes. It's an older house, but sometimes I actually do mess with it. So your hypothalamus is, Tammy, messing with your temperature. So when your hypothalamus doesn't have estrogen influence anymore because your ovaries are a little dried up and you're not making estrogen anymore, when you don't have that estrogen and you're not triggering your hypothalamus to know that it's not hot in the room, and if you have thyroid disorder, which also comes with estrogen decline, now your cold hands and feet now just went where you're hot all over. How does the body regulate that temperature to make you feel hot? It dilates your blood vessels. So what happens is when you're cold, it constricts your blood vessels. And that's why you feel cold. You're not getting blood supply to the skin, to the body. I mean, you've just kind of pulled all the heat to your internal organs. And so when you vasodilate, meaning the blood vessels, vasovessels, dilate, meaning expand, now there's a lot more blood flow. And also you can have this flushing sensation because of how fast it can happen. So in your house, when you turn up the heat, are you sneaking? You turn it up a little bit. You know how all of a sudden you kind of went from it's cool in the house to, oh my gosh, I'm sweating, because a lot of times on the thermostat, you kind of turn it up a little bit, but like it kind of registers a lot higher than before you know it, or you're really cold. And so you crank it because you think, oh my gosh, I want it to warm up fast in here. And then it's like you're blazing. So yeah. Hey, Misty. Hi, Mary. Hi, Denise. I see some new people here too. So I love it. Thank you. Welcome for being here. If you're menopausal or perimenopausal, you are in the right place. So stick around. Oh, and if you stay to the end, I'm going to tell you a magical fruit. No, I'm not the one that makes you toot, but I'm going to tell you a magical fruit that kind of has all these properties of all these things. So it is like the magical fruit that has so much to offer in it. And it's probably not even a fruit that you even think of or eat very often, but it's not completely rare. It's not like you can't get it at the grocery store. So I'm going to share that. If I forget to share it at the end, you guys are always good to remind me about the thing that I promised to tell you. So I absolutely will. So you guys remind me, or my moderator, fiance, will. Okay. So we know what causes them. It's vasodilation. So anything that is going to increase heat in your body or cause that vasodilation is going to be a problem. So I have help foods and then I have hurt foods. Okay. So the things that can help with this hypothalamus temperature dysregulation is flax seeds. And flax seeds actually are what we call components have a phytoestrogen. So it acts like estrogen, but it is plant-based, which our bioidentical hormones that we use are plant-based as well. So they are extracted from certain fruits and vegetables, mostly from the sweet potato plant is where we extract them from. But it's our creams are not, I'll just kind of clarify that because you guys will probably say, what about yam cream? They're not yam cream. They are extracted hormones from certain vegetables. So it's thing, right? So I know that sounded really weird. Maybe my brain's a little tired, or maybe it's too hot in here. Maybe the thermostat's up. But okay, so flax seeds have this phytoestrogen capacity. Soy has something called isoflavones in it. And I don't know if you've ever heard of miso or tempeh. Tempeh? Did I say that right? You can correct me if I didn't. And when I'm talking soy, I'm not talking soy sauce because a lot of times that's just salty flavored something. I don't even know what it is. I'd have to look that up, but I don't even know what soy sauce is. We're not talking about soy sauce. We're talking about actually like edamame or tempeh or something like that. Soy is not real common if you're vegetarian. A lot of people do like soy burgers and things like that. But soy actually has very powerful hot flash mitigating effects. And a lot of people think that soy causes breast cancer, and that's absolutely not true. It is a huge myth, and you might go find some resources that actually support that. But if you really look at the science, it's not true. When I go to my A4M conferences, which is our alternative medicine conferences, because I don't like to go to big pharma conferences because it's all just a bunch of hooey that they just plant in your head. And I'm still a medical doctor, don't get me wrong. I mean, I still believe in pharmaceuticals, but I just don't believe in what they're trying to do when we need hormones and they're trying to push antidepressants and sleeping pills on us and things like that. But when I go to these alternative medicine conferences, one of the guys one time was talking about soy. And it was very interesting because at the time, this was years ago, I was still under the impression because we just hear things and because a doctor says it, we think, well, that must be true. Or because we heard it in the media, we think that must be true. And that's one of the problems with doctors is a lot of times they don't stop long enough to really go, is that really true? And so they start just spouting this stuff too that doesn't really have any science or fact behind it. But the problem is when they tell you something as a patient from the doctor, we tend to believe it because we have to, because a lot of times they are treating life-threatening things with us and we have to trust. But I would say blind trust can be very, very dangerous when it comes to your health. So do your research. And I know it's not fun, especially if you're not like into nerdy science, like, a lot of us are. And you're just like, just cut to the chase. Just tell me what to do. And I have patients like that. They're just like, give me my hormones. I don't really want to do all that research, but I always say knowledge is power. And if you have your power, you have so much more autonomy with your health. And your health is everything. If you don't have your health is everything. So when we go to these conferences, they're very outside the box, but they still have, they're all medical doctors there mostly. There's nurse practitioners and, other holistic providers, but mostly it's doctors who thankfully have gotten outside the box and are more attuned to this holistic thought. So this one doctor was talking about soy, and I'm sitting there just riveted. And, he's talking about it helps with hot flashes. It helps with so many of the menopause symptoms. Now, I always say there ain't enough soy to take care of this girl's hormone issues. I need my estrogen. I need my progesterone, my testosterone, my DHEA. But if you absolutely do not want to explore hormones at all, hormones meaning ovarian hormones, then soy actually is very, very helpful. So just something to look into. And he blew me away because at that time I was like, what? Soy? I thought soy caused cancer. So, and I'm a bioidentical hormone girl, right? I mean, I do that all day long, every day. So that was just one of those moments where I was like, okay, something's up here. Here's another thing that I thought was the truth that I've probably even told patients before that simply wasn't true. And it's kind of like, how much of this unraveling do we have to do to really get to the truth behind things? So, anyway, there we go. So, soy and greens. So, greens like your broccoli, whatever it is, they have a lot of what's called diethylmendolamine isoflavones too, which actually help to block the problematic types of estrogen. And I always say God does not make a bad estrogen, but these chemicals like diethylmendolamine, DIM, you might be familiar with that. Oh, and I'm also at the end, I'm going to tell you the top 10 supplements that you can take to help with menopause symptoms as well, because sometimes it's really hard to get your veggies. It's really easy to get your wine, but sometimes it's hard to get your veggies. So I'm going to share supplements. I'm very passionate about supplements as well when we're done here. So anyway, greens have also a lot of magnesium in them, and magnesium helps relax everything. So magnesium's awesome. So we're going to go through some other symptoms, and magnesium helps all of these symptoms. That's on bioidentical estradiol from regular pharmacy. So, Jackie, so bioidentical estradiol from regular pharmacy, and I have some videos on this if you want to go back and watch some of my videos on my main page. But there is some confusion about the difference in what we call bioidentical and synthetic hormones. And then there's some confusion in compounding pharmacies and commercial pharmacies, I call them. So bioidentical means it's plant-based organic, like all of our hormones are plant-based organic. And the synthetic come from literally petrochemicals like natural gas. Go back to the early 1900s, go down that rabbit hole and like read about the Rockefellers and them creating synthetic hormones, steroid hormones. It's creepy. It's really, really creepy. Then, okay, so we have organic and we have synthetic. Then we have compounding pharmacies, which actually can make hormones based on what you need. And then we have commercial pharmacies. So getting bioidentical estradiol from a commercial pharmacy is okay, except for the fact that you can't really dial in your doses like that. And one size does not always fit all. And so I do use bioidentical estradiol from pharmacies sometimes, or patches or things like that. But there's just a couple different doses, and there's not a whole lot of being able to modify the doses or adjust the estrogen or the progesterone for different symptoms. And one of the wonderful things about our program is that we teach our women how to self-adjust their hormones based on symptoms. So that's a beautiful thing. So going with a commercial pharmacy, you're going to get 0.25 milligrams or 0.5 milligrams or 1 milligram of an estrogen patch. And there's not a whole lot of flexibility with that. Can use phytoestrogen and wild yam cream. So our bioidentical organic estrogens, yes, you can do that. You can do yam cream, or you can do yam creams, but yam cream is not actually progesterone. It stimulates natural progesterone to a small degree, but there's actually a chemical in it called dysogeninin. It's a big word. You can look that word up. Anyway, it's not actually progesterone. It stimulates progesterone. So anyway, not a big fan of yam creams. I'm a big fan of progesterone cream though, and it's quite different. Okay, so let's get into what makes hot flashes worse, because that's probably what you want to know. What makes hot flashes worse? One of the things that makes hot flashes worse is anything that's going to heat you up, because this is a dysregulation in your hypothalamus. So we have heat going on. So coffee, but also not just coffee because it's a hot drink usually. I mean, they do have cold coffee, but it's not just because it's a hot drink, but it's because of the caffeine. And caffeine is actually a parasympathetic stimulator, and so that's going to make your hot flashes worse. Hot sauce. So in hot sauce and hot peppers, there's something called capsaicin, and that actually increases your blood flow. So capsaicin can help a little bit with thyroid, especially when you have compromised blood flow, and that's why you feel like cold hands and feet. But capsaicin increases the blood flow. So if you eat hot peppers, anything that seems like hot, whether it's caliente or it's temperature hot, it's probably going to exacerbate your hot flashes. And I'm sorry, girls, you don't want to hear this. And I love a glass of wine. Actually, a glass of Prosecco sounds really good right now. But red wine, Prosecco's white wine or champagne, red wine is actually the worst culprit because it has something called tannins in it. And sometimes it can even stimulate migraines and things like that because of the vasodilation, which alcohol, red wine can cause that vasodilation as well. And it will also cause you to sweat and it will dehydrate you as well, especially red wine. So all of the hot flash symptoms and night sweats, night sweats are just a hot flash that wake you up in the middle of the night, because what happens is the brain actually starts trying to regulate temperature throughout the night. And when you don't have estrogen and progesterone to balance it, now you have a lot of instability in your hypothalamus. So that's when you start getting the night sweats. And it's funny because I'll just add, for you women out there who are menopausal, it's really interesting because people who don't understand or who haven't had hot flashes think it's kind of a funny thing. Oh, hot flashes. Oh, it's just, oh, I feel a little warm. No, they are crippling, absolutely crippling. Now, some women might have milder hot flashes and they might transition okay, and it's not too bad of a thing. But for most women, they tell me that, well, number one, if your makeup is completely melting off, that's not fun. It doesn't feel good. If you feel like you got to go put your makeup on 3 times, or you just feel sweaty and stinky all the time, and that's very problematic. But it comes with this creepy, crawly anger, fluctuating, just madness. And so when you have that, it is not a benign thing. It is quite crippling to a lot of people. So I want to honor that. And especially, and my fiance's on here too, my moderator. And I don't want to negate anything that men go through in their lives, but they just will never be able to really understand how bad that is. And so it's kind of a funny thing. And sometimes the guys will laugh and they'll be like, oh yeah, it's hot flashes. But it's also very disruptive because when you're not sleeping, because you're drenching the bed, and then you have to get up and literally change your clothes 2 or 3 times, and you can't change the sheets because your partner's asleep next to you. So you go get a towel and put it under you and hope you can fall back to sleep. The sleep deprivation that you experience from that, they say that sleep deprivation is almost more dangerous than being impaired from alcohol or substances. So, yeah, it's not benign. And hot flashes, I just did a little reel video on this, I think it was yesterday. Hot flashes actually rewire your brain neurochemicals. So they're not benign in any sense. So anybody who just thinks they're going to suck it up because hot flash is the only thing they think are related to menopause, we're actually causing some serious long-term changes in the brain that can cause Alzheimer's, can cause dementia, can cause all sorts of neurodegenerative changes, Parkinson's, lots of different things. So it's kind of like migraines. People think migraines, oh, it's just a headache. Migraines actually cause plaques in the brain that can lead to MS and seizures and tumors and degenerative changes like Alzheimer's. So all these things that doctors just say, oh, suck it up, or if they don't have a drug for it, or if they want to put you on a drug, then it's just this vicious cycle of them minimizing our symptoms and side effects because they don't want to deal with us, because menopause has so many symptoms. And again, these are only the 7 most common. Okay, so we're going to jump back in. So alcohol, yeah, it's an issue. And alcohol also disrupts sleep, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So if you're not getting that deep sleep, that REM cycle, and you're impairing that, then hot flashes are going to be your night sweats that are going to be impaired because you're not sleeping well, and now everything's off. Okay, and some other things you can do for hot flashes too as well is turn the temperature down in the house. So my estrogen is good, so my fiance probably wishes that I had some hot flashes so I would keep the house cold, but I know the benefits of having my estrogen higher, and my estrogen's not high enough, I get all moody, so he doesn't want that. So he has to deal with either it's hot in the house or I'm a raging crazy girl. Okay, so we covered hot flashes. Okay, so moving on, we will have mood swings. Okay, so we're going to talk about foods that help and things that might hurt. Okay, so mood swings, fish are really good. And they say that I haven't studied this a lot. I'm not a nutritionist. I didn't study nutrition. They give you probably 2 hours of nutrition in med school because they don't want you studying nutrition. They want you pushing big pharma, right? But as I've studied things, there are certain types of fish that you want to avoid because of mercury content. So a lot of times we just want to jump to like the salmon, right? And so sometimes salmon can have increased mercury content, and there's differences between whitefish and all the things. So in general, and I will say, I'm not talking about fillet of fish because I don't think fillet of fish actually has any fish in it at all. I think it's fish flavored, and that's almost more creepy than anything. But okay, so you could do your research and decide what kind of fish is best. I love salmon, and don't tell me if there's a bunch of mercury in it because I probably don't want to know because I just love salmon. Yeah, I know. I'm a good. So yeah. Okay. So fish. I take fish oil, and I like a couple different fish oil brands. I'm going to talk about supplements here in a little bit, but I like the Metagenics brand, the Biotics brand, and the Garden of Life brand for fish oil because it's cold pressed, and they have a very good process to pull any kind of toxins or chemicals or mercury or anything out of it too. So that's kind of my go-to is I know that if I'm going to really focus on fish oil, that's how I'm going to get it. Okay, you're going to love this. Are you ready? Dark chocolate. Yes, yay, cocoa. So it has magnesium and tryptophan, and magnesium is very calming to our nerves, to our GABA receptors, to really balancing the serotonin and the dopamine. And no, I'm not talking about the fake milk chocolate. Like, it's crazy. You know, when I was a kid, like a Snickers bar or a Milky Way was like heavenly. It's like the expensive, like German chocolate we buy now, except it was like super cheap back then. And it's completely different. I mean, it's full of wax and stuff now. If you buy the cheap stuff, it's gross. I'm not even tempted to buy a Snickers bar because it's just like, that's disgusting. However, I will say sometimes on Halloween, and they have those little bite-sized ones, and they're like in a bowl at, like my art class or something. I'm like, I think I have the memory of how good they used to taste. And every single time I will eat one, I'll still be like, gosh, those are nasty. I don't even know what they're doing to those these days. So anyway, I don't even know why I do it when I do it, but it's just kind of the thought of, oh, that one time, maybe it might actually taste like it did when I was a kid. I don't know. I'm 55, so I don't even know when it changed because it was a while back. So anyway, so dark chocolate. Pumpkin seeds. I love pumpkin seeds. Like pumpkin is one of my very favorite flavors. I love when the fall kicks in because there's pumpkin everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, pumpkin. It's my thing. And I love pumpkin seeds. So basically you can take the pumpkin seeds and put them on a pan and roast them. And they're so, so delicious. Just love it. So anyway, pumpkin seeds. And now you can buy just straight pumpkin seeds. But they have a lot of zinc, a lot of magnesium, and the zinc actually helps calm the nervous system. I'm a very big proponent of zinc as a supplement as well. So if you have a lot of trouble with mood swings, you might consider taking zinc and magnesium, of course. I'm a huge magnesium fan. Okay, so things you want to avoid if you have mood swings. Oh, and I didn't talk about the mechanism of action with mood swings. And that is because in menopause and perimenopause, in perimenopause, your estrogen levels are jumping all over the place. And in menopause, you are literally dried up. You have no estrogen. Your ovaries do not make estrogen anymore. Now, I will say your adrenal glands and your belly fat make some estrogen, but almost not detectable. Not like your ovaries did, not like when you were in your 30s. So if that's the case and you're actually there, get some bioidentical hormones. That's our claim to fame. My mission is that let me just backtrack. We went from 2002, when the stupid study that scared everybody made women throw their hormones in the trash. In 2001, 70 to 80% of women were on HRT. In 2003, after that study came out, it went down to 30% of women. In 2025, where we are now, almost 1% of women are on HRT. And it's because you've been lied to, and it's because there's a lot more to the story. So I always say, if you are interested in getting your life back, if you have all these symptoms and food ain't cutting it, helpful foods, and then avoiding foods not cutting it, then go to our website. It's Hormone Bliss. Order a test kit, see what your hormone levels are. It's super easy. It comes right to your house. You do it at home. This month it's less than $100. If you could get a doctor to check your hormone levels, it would probably cost $600 to even $1,000. And they'd still probably tell you it's not medically necessary and wouldn't cover it. So this is a really nice way to see what your hormone levels are doing. And then we make a plan to get you on some bioidentical hormones and not only help all these symptoms and not only change your life and help with your feeling better, but your longevity too. So your life absolutely depends on you having replacement of your ovaries that were once functioning. So, okay, there's my little plug there. And the link in bio that is on my main page, we went and we started messing with some of the TikTok page, moving some stuff around today. So the link in bio is hidden. So if you go to where my link in bio is, there's a little arrow down pointing. When you click on that, it wants to take you to this shopping page that is not even my thing. It's called Lemonade or something like that. So I meant to go take that off of there before the live tonight because you guys are used to going in there. But in that link tree, when you go to that link tree, there's tons of free downloads, and we have other supplements and things too if you're interested in really super good quality supplements. But anyway, if you go to my link in bio, it's kind of messed up in there right now. But if you go to our website, it's hormonebliss.com, and that will take you wherever you need to go to where you can see all our stuff. Okay. So the mood swings are basically that drop in estrogen, and that affects your serotonin and your dopamine levels. They drop as well. Dopamine is your happy, happy, happy hormone that makes you just like, it's like the best chocolate chip cookies ever. It's just like trip to grandma's. Serotonin is your calm hormone. And so when estrogen declines or drops out, those neurochemicals drop out as well. And so you'll be sad and angry and sad and angry and all over the place. Okay, so the things that hurt are cookies. And I just said chocolate chip cookies and trigger dopamine. But cookies, because blood sugar spikes and insulin, sugar crashes and insulin spikes. You know, when you're really hungry, how grumpy you can be. My fiance and I actually went to Old Chicago today, and I was starving and he was starving, and we are both very sensitive to our insulin levels, and we're just sitting there trying to have a meaningful conversation. And I'm starting to get a headache, and I'm just hearing, like, you know, on Charlie Brown, when you hear the parents or the teachers talk and it's like, womp, womp, womp. That's what I'm hearing. So, like, I couldn't be in a good mood. I couldn't be cheery. I couldn't be like, yeah, this is the best day ever. Because I'm like, my insulin has spiked, my sugar has crashed, and I'm like, I know in like 5 minutes when I get my sugar levels up, I'm going to be fine again. But right now I'm not. So mood swings, grumpy, depressed, all that's related. Okay, let's see. We have a question. Lately, anything that I eat spikes my sugar. Even boiled eggs spike my sugar. You know, it's very interesting. I have one of my dearest friends. He's in his mid-60s, and this guy's a genius. I always say, if an alien ship landed in the backyard. He'd have it fixed and back up in the air in like 30 minutes. Exaggerating, of course, but super, super smart. Well, super smart with like health stuff as well. I'm like, if anybody could, and he got diabetes, his blood sugar started spiking in the 400s, A1C went up. I'm like, if anybody can figure this out, it's him. And so we know that things like cinnamon and chromium and all those things, magnesium helps with blood sugar issues. But there is a supplement, and it's not my company, and I don't have any stock in that company, but there's a company called Biotics. And if you want to direct message me, I actually do have a link that I'll send you that's in an app that I kind of keep all my collections of things that I like. But it's called Biocardiazyme, and it's by Biotics. So if you want to just go look that up on Amazon or whatever, you can do that too. But anyway, his blood sugars went to normal, and we even started him on metformin, and it wasn't really working. And so when he started this Biocardiazyme, it was crazy. So anyone who tells me they're having sugar problems, absolutely recommend that. Okay. Also, there are instability things with other things like your liver. And if you do like dandelion tea and detox and methylfolate, all those things can help your liver work better, because your liver, okay, this is going to be crazy, I know, your liver actually makes sugar. It's not even the sugar that you're eating. Your liver literally makes sugar. It's called gluconeogenesis. And you don't have to know that word. It's a big fancy word, and it kind of makes you think maybe I'm smart or something, but it is a thing. Your liver actually makes sugar. And that's why when you wake up in the morning, when you're a diabetic or you have insulin issues, your sugar could be really high and you haven't even eaten anything for like 8 hours, because your liver said, where's the sugar? I'm used to having a lot of sugar around. I'm just going to make my own. So, and cortisol, if you have stress or you have hormone imbalance, estrogen helps balance out and help your adrenals work better. So if you have cortisol imbalance, stress, that's going to make your sugars worse, and it's going to make your liver make more sugar through gluconeogenesis. So a couple different things that you can try. You're already trying low carb, right? Because you're eating a lot of protein. So if that's not working, there's more to the picture. I think you have to look at the liver, and not just the pancreas and your insulin, but your liver making its own sugar. Cortisol too. Yeah. So it's all connected. So my advice, I'm not giving medical advice, but my opinion is that get your hormones checked. If you're perimenopausal or menopausal or estrogen dominant, we can fix that with some bioidentical progesterone. That would help so much. And then we can kind of look at the liver stuff and get your liver healthy too. So it all starts with a test kit. So if you're interested, go to hormonebliss.com and order you a test kit, and we'll see what your hormones are. And we now have cortisol tests on our website too. So if you want to get your cortisol levels checked, you can do that. And we also have thyroid testing on there too. So you can order those. So I'm excited about that too. Okay. Thoughts on estrogen for lichen sclerosis. Oh my gosh, Dee Dee, this is such a thing. And I don't know, like, I feel like God just like does things for me, not to me. I've never personally dealt with this, but I feel like God sends me like a lot of patients so that I can study it, because like one patient comes, you're like, oh, I don't know that much about it. I'll look it up, and then you get busy and you forget. But I've literally had like 10 to 15 women, I would say, in the past year with lichen sclerosis. So my first thing would be get on bioidentical hormones. I've even had some women put natural estrogen cream on the lesions, especially if it's like in the vaginal area, and it gets so much better. Get that estrogen balance back. It's so impressive how fast it will help that. Also, I've seen some women, and it's autoimmune component as well. So leaky gut, clearing up the digestive tract, probiotics, and food sensitivities can help as well. But hormone balance, because this is my world, right? And I see it all the time, has such a big impact on that. So let's see, even my triglycerides went up from 55 to 208. Okay, so I'm not sure your name is, but I see favicimids. I'm going to totally butcher that. But definitely I would look at the biocardiozyme from biotics, and I would work on your liver health as well. So triglycerides are just the sugary part of your lipid panel. So something's going on with the pancreas. It might need more of a workup. So you might ask your doctor to do a pancreatic workup, maybe pancreas enzymes or pancreas ultrasound or CT or something like that. Because it sounds like if you went from 55 to 208 and you're really looking at managing your carbohydrate intake, something else is going on. So I would look at that. Okay. So let's get back to the topics here. And where were we? Mood swings. So we've got processed foods that causes inflammation. Omega-6s, not omega-3s, but it can trigger inflammation through too many omega-6s, like having a lot of canola or corn oils, that kind of thing. Artificial sweeteners, they're actually neurotoxins, and they affect your GABA, which is one of your neurochemicals. So all of those things can really affect your mood swings. So for mood swings, you want to eat fish, dark chocolate, and pumpkin seeds would really help. And then stay away from your high fructose corn syrups, your cookies, your processed foods, and your artificial sweeteners. And that's kind of just common sense. But know that when you're having those things, like I broke down the other night and had a moment of weakness. Everybody was out of town, and I'm at the grocery store and I'm trying to buy chicken salad and stuff. And there was a bag of Doritos, and I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but tons of MSG. I didn't sleep at all. I was itchy. I felt like crap, and like, it was awful. I don't know what got into me. Just these things come over us. We're human, right? It happens. So I'm just being real with you guys. So don't have the Doritos and think that you're going to be okay with mood swings or brain fog or anything like that. Okay, so we got mood swings. Those are the biggies. Brain fog. Blueberries have a lot of antioxidants and really good for brain fog and memory issues. My mom and my grandma both had Alzheimer's, so I am very in tuned to looking at foods and supplements and all the things that can help with memory issues, because the stats show that about 60% of women 5 to 10 years out from menopause have considerable, I don't know what considerable is, but cognitive decline. And we're not just talking forgetful, losing your keys. We're talking significant cognitive decline. So it's a thing. Okay, so eggs. You mentioned eggs, so that's great. Eggs have something called choline in it, which can help regulate your blood sugar. So when she said, I even try to eat eggs, eggs actually help regulate your blood sugar through choline, and that can help with memory too. Plus, your brain preferentially wants to fire on fatty acids, not on glucose or sugar. And memory problems and dementia are actually what we call a type 3 diabetes of the brain, because when we eat all this sugar all the time that's in our environment, we start to get insulin resistant in our brain. And that is when we really start to have cognitive decline. And MCT, or coconut oil, I didn't even put that on there, is really, really good. And there are actually studies to show that it can reverse Alzheimer's. So I'm not saying it cures Alzheimer's, but tons of research. So go look that up if you're concerned about that. I always put about 2 teaspoons of MCT or refined coconut oil in my smoothies, protein shakes every single morning. So I'm very passionate about that. Okay. So the things to avoid, of course, are what we call the forever chemicals. There are literally thousands of chemicals in our environment. And we're not just talking about the things that are in our food that are banned in other countries, in our environment, in our clothes, in our carpet, in our walls, in our yards. So these chemicals are all affecting us. So the main places that, because we're talking about food, that these forever chemicals live is in fast food. So when it's a forever chemical, if a French fry is a French fry in 20 years under your seat, and I probably have some scary things under my seat. I am terrible about cleaning my car. I don't know if you guys share that with me, but so if I've ever had a French fry, it's probably still under my seat. But anyway, I try not to do those things. Ever since I found out the scary truth about McDonald's meat, and I have to be careful because sometimes I get my hand slapped saying stuff on TikTok, so I'll whisper. But ever since I like started down that rabbit hole of what the meat is, like the pink sludge and like all the things in there, I'm like, no way, I'm not darkening the door to McDonald's anymore. But anyway, okay. So forever chemicals, basically it's preservatives, right? Like you would think maybe you want to preserve yourself, right, to live 100 years, but preservatives will not make you live longer. Okay, so high fructose corn syrup, again, the insulin resistance issues, brain fog, memory, kind of goes in with mood swings too. All of this has a lot of overlap. And gluten. There is a great book called Grain Brain. If you ever get a chance and you like this nerdy science, of course, you can go read my book too. I always want to plug my book when I plug someone else's book. But a guy named Dr. Perlmutter wrote Grain Brain. Very fascinating about the effect of grains like gluten and gliadin on the thyroid. And it all goes back to the leaky gut, autoimmune problems that come from the gut. And brain fog is a really big deal. I don't claim it anymore, but I have autoimmune thyroid. And I will notice that if I just go nuts on gluten for a long time, like days, my thyroid will actually go offline. My TSH will go up, and I know it's from the gluten. I've done my food sensitivity testing, and we actually have food sensitivity testing. I don't think we have it on our website yet, but if that's something you want to do. And I know that gluten is on my food sensitivity test, so it causes inflammation in my body. And the whole deal is when your thyroid is offline, you're very tired, and tired goes with brain fog, right? So when you're like exhausted, you're just not thinking, right? So, okay, so that's the thing. So gluten can trigger your thyroid to go offline. Okay, so let's go to weight gain. This is one of the biggest things that bring women to my office. Now they have these other symptoms, but we don't want to deal with the weight gain. So I'm going to go kind of quickly here because I know I'm running out of time and I've got a lot of stuff to get through. So avocados help regulate insulin due to the good fats in there. Eating protein, chicken, meat will stabilize your blood sugar, which can help with weight gain. And cinnamon actually helps with insulin sensitivity. The number one reason that women gain weight after menopause is because they have no estrogen, unless they're on HRT, and estrogen stimulates a good insulin response. So I always focus on insulin. I check insulin levels on everybody. I focus on insulin because if you eat more protein, it will help stabilize the insulin, and taking estrogen will help regulate that. So women will gain 5 to 10 pounds every year after menopause if they don't have hormones on board. And if they get estrogen on board, they'll stop gaining. It'll stop the needle every time. I cannot tell you any time that getting a woman balanced on her hormones, she's continued to gain weight. Now, like if you're just a glutton and you're eating McDonald's every day and 10,000 calories, that's a thing. But if we restore your hormones to where they were in your 30s, if you're doing just the moderate amount of calories in, calories out, and I don't like calories because calories is just it's not even relevant. Calories is a unit of energy, not a unit of mass. So calories in an apple are completely different from the calories in a Snickers bar. Talked about Snickers bar earlier, completely different. But I'm just saying energy expenditure in, energy expenditure out when you're in your 30s, unless you've got some severe metabolic disorder, it works and you don't gain weight. So after menopause, getting on hormones will stop the needle. Now, if you want to lose or you've gained weight, you have to put that extra energy in, and you do have to cut your energy coming in, right? Or your food supply coming in, and you have to increase that energy going out. So not saying that getting on hormones is going to make you lose weight. It's going to restore your metabolism so that the things that used to work. But I don't like to say things that make you feel limited, like cut out your sugar. I like to say increase your protein, because if you have a lot of protein, it's not much room for sugar. Okay, so Cinnamon helps with insulin resistance, and I'm going to skip over here to hurt. So, of course, bread, because it has a lot of carbs in it, and it's got gluten. Fried foods, because the trans fats actually stimulate inflammation. Most weight gain is actually from inflammation. And progesterone, which balances out the estrogen, decreases inflammation. And then, of course, sodas. Just drinking your sugar is never good. Okay, sleep issues. Tart cherry. I did not know this. Tart cherry actually works for gout. So if you know anybody with gout, cherry juice concentrate is very good for that. Natalia, can I just do estrogen patches and no progesterone? Natalia, listen to me, please, for the love of God. Yes, you need progesterone. You cannot just do estrogen. Women who do just estrogen will gain 10 pounds a year, at least. I promise you. It's awful because you need progesterone to balance out the effects of estrogen, and estrogen is very stimulating. The other thing is progesterone helps with sleep. So if a doctor tells you because you've still got a uterus, you can't get uterine cancer, you don't need progesterone. Progesterone does so many other things. It's like saying you have shoes, you don't need socks. So please, Natalia, please, some progesterone. And if you want us to do it, you can just order a test kit, check your levels, and we will put you on some bioidentical natural progesterone. What can you do if you're sensitive to progesterone? That's tricky. That's very tricky because we have some women who are very sensitive to progesterone. One of the beautiful things in our program that we do is when we use bioidentical topical progesterone, you're not as sensitive to it because of the way your body absorbs it into the tissues and not into the bloodstream. So you don't have as many of the puffy, sometimes sleepy symptoms that you can have when you are more sensitive to progesterone. Do insurance or is it out of pocket? So unfortunately, the insurance game doesn't want you on hormones. They want you on their antidepressants, the sleeping pills, the pain pills. They want you on all that stuff. So you can go the insurance route, but then you're going to get doctors who are like, like our other friend was saying, they just put her on estrogen. But to find people who really spend the time to research this, oftentimes they're the functional medicine doctors or the hormone specialists who don't, if they're going to focus on you, like our program focuses on you, insurance doesn't compensate us for that. But, at the end of the day, sometimes it's like, what does insurance really do for you? I mean, some people spend $1,500 a month and they get absolutely nothing except maybe their antibiotics covered when they go to the pharmacy. Or, I get it. If there's a catastrophic thing, you want to have insurance, but it's kind of a lie that it's really doing anything proactively or even symptom control, because a lot of times people go on antidepressants or sleeping pills and it really doesn't help them. And it's definitely not increasing their longevity and, decreasing their morbidity and mortality. Only hormones can do that. So, that's kind of where we settle out. So anyway, sometimes we have to invest in ourselves. Insurance won't pay for supplements or, sometimes chiropractors, but, acupuncture, things like that. So sometimes when we have to get outside the box, we do have to bite that bullet just a little bit. But our programs are super affordable. In fact, our test kit, our hormone test kit that comes to your house, and it's just a simple saliva test, very, very accurate. This is the same lab that we do our blood testing and blood spots and dried urine, all the other tests that are legit testing facilities. This is really easy because it measures your tissues, and it's really good because the bioidentical hormone creams get absorbed into the tissues. So it's a really good test for what we do with the bioidentical hormones. So just go to Hormone Bliss, order a test kit, go to my link in bio, or you can go to Shop Hormone Bliss and you can order a test kit there. So that's the way in, and it's only $97 this month. So it's a great deal. If you use the code GREEN 97, so write that down. Green. Oh, I want to write it in green. I'm running out of time. Oh my gosh, this might have to be a part 2 to tomorrow night or Monday night. Green 97. And it's Hormone Bliss is the site. I have to clean up my link in bio, but it's Hormone Bliss. Bliss. I'm getting tired. .com. Okay, so yeah, do that. Get you a test kit. So where are we now? We've got sleep issues. So tart cherry, Almonds have a lot of magnesium. Chamomile tea has proteins that can enhance your sleep. And then things to stay away from for sleep: high sodium. So don't eat at Olive Garden at 8 o'clock at night and think that you're going to get good sleep. You get this puffiness, you get this adrenal surge. There's so many things that happen when you have too much salt on board, and it will spike your cortisol as well. So one thing too, a lot of people who have the sugar spikes, like the lady who mentioned earlier that she's still spiking sugar, we don't think about salt. High salt intake stimulates cortisol and inflammation, which then will spike your blood sugar because cortisol can do that. So that could be a thing too. So watch the sodium. And a lot of people don't realize how much sodium is in stuff. Alcohol disrupts your REM sleep, and you can't get all your sleep cycles in order that help you have that balanced sleep, that when you feel rested when you wake up. And MSG, I mentioned the Doritos a while ago, but that can cause, it's a neurotoxin that can cause muscle irritability and brain zaps. Bloating and digestion issues. So kimchi, which is absolutely disgusting. I get nauseated when I smell kimchi, but things that have probiotics in them, and yogurt, but not, oh my gosh, they have like Twix cereal yogurt. That's disgusting. It's all high fructose corn syrup. There's probably not a probiotic in there to save its life, but Greek yogurt and all natural yogurts have probiotics in them. Ginger can relax the gut muscles. Magnesium is great for relaxing the gut. Magnesium and folate. So I've got some talks on genetics and folate, not folic acid. In fact, if you want to eliminate folic acid, folate and folic acid are not the same thing. I've got other videos on that, but avoid folic acid. It's fortified in so many things. If you have pre-packaged foods that have fortification of vitamins in it, folic acid in there is bad, bad, bad. And papaya or papain has enzymes, digestive enzymes in it. So that's pineapple. And things to avoid: dairy and carbonated drinks. Carbonated drinks and that fizz can trap gas. Dairy can cause lactose intolerance. And dry skin, another symptom of menopause. Bone broth can help, collagen supplements, but bone broth has collagen. Avocados have a lot of vitamin E in it. And sweet potatoes have a lot of beta carotene, which repairs skin cells. You want to avoid fried foods because there's oxidative stress when it's breaking, and it can break down collagen. Caffeine can dehydrate the skin, making it really dry appearing. Oh, hang on. Sorry, they're telling me my time's almost up. I'm hurrying. And sugar, because sugar causes something called glycation, and it can actually stiffen your collagen fiber. So I did want to mention supplements. So I'm going to move this back and bring this screen up real quick because I promised. And oops, I always do that. Sometimes I actually hit my head with the board. But okay, so let's move this into view here. You guys are so good to me and patient and deal with my silliness. Okay, so if you haven't already picked up on it, magnesium, let me move this over just a little bit. Magnesium is in a lot of those foods, but supplement with it because you can't get enough. We're all deficient in it. Omega-3s, like your fish oils. Vitamin D3 with K helps it absorb better. DIM, diethylmendolamine, is the thing in your green leafy vegetables. Greens? In green. I did it in green. Black cohosh can help with hot flashes. It's an oily base that helps with some phytoestrogen effect. Oh, somebody said, I guess no Costco cheese Danish for me. Yeah, Dee Dee, you might avoid that. That would probably be a good thing. It's told to take folic acid. What can I replace it with? So methylfolate. And if you go to my link in bio, I have a book that I wrote, and it's a free download. You don't have to buy the book. And it's called The Methyl Solution. And it talks about methylation and the genetic alterations with methylation and liver clearance of toxins. Fascinating book. I say that because I wrote it, but it's one of my best works. I'm super, super proud of it. But do not take folic acid. Think of folic acid as acid, like battery acid. Do not take it. Make sure you look for something called L-methylfolate or methylfolate. There's different forms of methylfolate. But if you can't find that link in my bio, because like I say, things were a little screwy. I have got to go back in there and fix it and clean it up. If you direct message me, I will send you a link so that you can download the methyl book or the folate book. We'll just call it the folate book. Okay. Oh my gosh. And the folate stuff is so fascinating, and the genetic alterations and everything has such a huge impact on so many things. So I'm just really passionate about it. Anybody who wants a copy of that and they can't find it in my link in bio, just direct message me. Or if you have questions, I always answer everybody. Sometimes I miss the questions, but direct message me if you have questions. Okay. Collagen. I love collagen. In our shop section and our link in bio, we have a great collagen peptide powder. L-theanine, that helps balance out the brain chemicals, your GABA. I mentioned the methylfolate and methylated B vitamins. I won't get into what all methyl or hydroxy Bs are, but you don't want to use the synthetic cyanocobalamin Bs. Probiotics, of course. And we have a great, I'll do a little plug here. I love this stuff. I'm really sensitive to probiotics. It can really mess with my brain chemistry sometimes if it's the wrong balance, and everybody has different balances. But our fruits and greens have probiotics in them, and the stuff is delicious. My son, the first time, he loves the sweets, who doesn't? But I remember the first time I was like, okay, as soon as he tries this, he's going to be like, I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, how much of this can I drink a day? So, and he gave up sodas about the same time. So this is kind of his go-to if he wants a sweet drink or something. Okay. And ginkgo biloba, brain fog, memory problems, mood. I love ginkgo. So, and then Shirley says, I tried ginkgo biloba and gave me a headache. Do you know why it would? There are different forms of ginkgo biloba. So there is a certain kind of ginkgo. There are different forms. Ginkgold, OLD, that's a brand that's really good. We have, if you go to shop Hormone Bliss and you go to my supplement section, my Dr. Tammy's hormone or supplements, we have one called Brain Support. I take it every single day. It's one of those things, if I don't take it, I notice. And I'm super prone to headaches. I mean, I don't have migraines, but I'm super prone to just that low grade kind of tension. And I've never had a problem with it. So I love it. And I have had problems with other forms. So try that. If you try it and you don't love it, well, totally money back guarantee on it. So it's worth a try if you want ginkgo, if you're worried about memory problems or something like that. So yeah, go try that. And it's got a lot of other stuff like DMAE and other things in it too. Bacopa, okay, for memory. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Is it BACOPA? I'll have to look that up. But yeah, and there are some other things besides ginkgo, but if it's a good quality ginkgo, then you should be okay with it too. But I'll have to look that up. So anyway, I know I'm out of time. I promised you, if you stay till the end, that I would tell you the superfruit that has so many of these properties that help almost all of these symptoms in it. And it's what the warriors, the Greek warriors, used to eat before they went into battle. It would actually help boost their muscle oxygen flow and would help with any kind of mood imbalances or insulin resistance, things like that. Their blood sugar would crash. And it's pomegranate. So I love pomegranate martinis. So does that count? I don't know. So pomegranate, it is one of the things that we don't eat a lot, unless you do a lot of pomegranate martinis. Oh my gosh, that sounds really good. And then I just said how bad alcohol is. But anyway, I'm human, right? It sounds good every once in a while. Okay. I'm here on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. Please tell your friends if this is interesting and you want to change their lives. And so many of my tribe are here, and they're just so beautiful. Elaine, I saw Dana come on earlier, and I didn't even say hi to everybody. So thank you so much for being here. And again, our hormone test kits are only $97 this month. It could be so life-changing for you. And just know what your levels are. Even if you are nervous about bioidentical hormones, at least test your levels so that you know you're not crazy and that you can be very proactive with things as well. And then when we do that, we get you your test results and we come up with a plan for bioidentical hormones. So estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, pregnant alone, all the things. we can figure out what's going on and get you feeling better. And that's all the plan is. Education is power, your autonomy. You don't have to have a doctor to self-regulate your hormones within certain parameters. So you can have your power and you can symptom mitigate, project health and wellness, and live healthy as long as you can without broken bones and heart disease. All that stuff potentially can happen, but you can really reduce the risk. For people like me that I have family history of Alzheimer's and heart disease, very scary stuff. I'm 55. I don't want that for myself. So I'm very passionate about being proactive with my hormones. So the test kit is only $97. You have to use the code GREEN97. But when you go to Shop Hormone Bliss, or you can just go to Hormone Bliss and order the test kit, or my link in bio, but it's a little messed up right now, but you should be able to like dig around in there and find that website. It's only $97. And then after that, then we make a plan for you. So one of our coaches will talk with you about what that looks like for you. So we always make it affordable for everybody. So just visit with them, but start with your levels and you see if that's even something that you want to pursue, but it's really easy to do. So go get your test kit. You'll have it in a couple of days. You just put a little saliva in the tube and then we'll see what you got going on. Okay. I love y'all so very much. Have a beautiful night. It's the weekend. So we're going to have amazing healthy foods. Can start taking some supplements, other things. And then I will see you here Monday night again at 7. If you have questions, please bring them. And I will try to get this replay reposted. However, it is on Instagram Live. It is on Facebook, all under Dr. Tammy. So go look up Dr. Tammy Tucker. It's on YouTube. So they live parked there when I do these talks. So if you don't see them reposted the next day, then you can go find them there. So knowledge is power. Your autonomy is everything. And it's your body. And nobody should be able to gatekeep your health and wellness but you. Okay. See you all Monday.